everyone, and welcome back to day 19 of My Kids Think I'm Cool, but podcast holiday special. For 25 days, like I mentioned before, I will be interviewing 25 internationals living abroad, and they will be talking about how they celebrated Christmas in their home country and how they're celebrating Christmas now and wherever they live. It could be in Denmark, it could be in the US, it could be in the Netherlands, anywhere in the world. And they will be just talking about how they balance the two different traditions that they try to have. Today, I have Yuki from Japan, and she lives in Denmark with her family. Her husband is Dane, and they have one daughter together. Welcome, Yuki, and thank you so much for being on this holiday special that I am actually having.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, and then can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so my name's Yuki. I've lived in the US and Denmark, Brazil, and Canada. Um, I um, I am currently studying to become a pedagogue, which is an early childhood educator in Denmark. So it's really great working with children and trying to also learn the Danish traditions at a public school in Denmark.
That must be really cool just to learn it that way because they really stick to tradition. With my what I noticed in my daughter's Burn a Hound, it's just like every year is the same thing. It's like they really stick to it.
Yes, there's actually every day is Christmas, and they talk about, for example, Santa Lucia. They actually go into details right now. The kids that I work with are about 6 to 7 years old, so they can actually take in more information than in kindergarten. But there's a lot of coloring, making decorations, a lot of eating Danish Christmas cookies. Yes.
Wow, that must be fun at the same time, and also you're learning, how it is, how it's celebrated in Denmark.
Absolutely, because my daughter, so I try to speak Japanese with my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she is fluent in Japanese, but she's better in Danish. So I don't actually get so much information in Japanese. So being at school, being part of the school, actually, I'm learning much more. A lot of Christmas expressions, games that actually kids play at school. So it's been very, very interesting and enriching. Being a part of the Danish school.
I think that's also nice because when my daughter comes home, I feel disconnected with her because I don't understand it. So I
Hmm.
think that gives you a little bit of connection with your daughter because you know what's going on. And when I ask my daughter, it's like, "Oh, what you do?" It's like, "Oh, nothing, inting." I'm like, "Why don't you tell me what
That's
you're doing?"
very typical. It's very typical, but
Yeah.
that's so true because I can feel that I can talk with my daughter more
Mm-hmm.
about what Christmas is at school. Well, what did you actually do? I did this today. Did you also used to do that? And it's really nice because I also feel that there. It's actually I realized that I did miss out on some things that she must have been doing in kindergarten, but I didn't know about. But now I can follow and actually have a dialogue with her.
Wow, you're gonna have to share some of those information
Yes.
with me because I feel so disconnected with my daughter, and I try to teach her, some of my traditions in the U.S. or in even in the Philippines,
Mhm.
but we never really talk about the traditions here in Denmark. So
No,
yeah, you'll definitely have to give me the in on what they do in
yes,
Burnahound.
I love to. I love to.
But let's get into. We're already talking about Christmas, but how is it celebrated in Japan?
So in Japan, we're not the majority is Buddhism or
Mm-hmm,
the Japanese indigenous religion that's called Shinto, and we
mm-hmm,
do have a some Christians, but it's not the majority. So
mm-hmm.
what Christmas has become is it's very commercial,
Yeah.
and it's also become more of a celebration for couples. So what's very typical is that couples would maybe book a nice hotel room, a nice dinner, and buy some really nice gifts for each other. Families, of course, do celebrate, but what the companies and I think often the commercials and the TV programs when it talks about Christmas, it's often about couples.
Oh, okay.
And
So
so
it's
those
not about Santa and
it is as well. It is as well. But I feel I spent most of my years in Japan as an adult.
mhm.
So in that sense, the impression that I do have is that it was all about couples. But of course, having spent 2 years of school in or elementary school in Japan, we did sing a lot of Christmas songs at school. We would have a children's Christmas party, and then the families often would buy, believe it or not, it was Kentucky Fried Chicken.
So that's the
That
traditional meal.
Yes, and somehow I think I read the story on how it came to be Kentucky Fried Chicken. The CEO of the Japan office, he answered an interview and said that it's a very typical thing that they do in the West. They eat Kentucky Fried Chicken, and then everybody just jumped on the idea, and I
It
think
just
they
became.
have a pretty good sales in December. So
So
chicken,
they definitely push for sales in December in
yes, yes,
KFC. That's
absolutely.
actually really funny. So that's if I asked you what's the traditional Christmas food in
Yes.
Japan, it would be KFC.
KFC or chicken, and also you can't miss out on a Christmas cake, which is kind of like a strawberry shortcake. It's a cream based, a whipped cream and strawberry themed cake. And everywhere they sell this Christmas cake on Christmas Eve.
Mhm.
And there's also a saying, when the Christmas cake is a day old, I mean, you can't sell it anymore. So often, if I remember correctly, that sometimes women, as sexist as it can be, is referred to sometimes, um, if you don't make it on time, or I think if you don't get married on time, it was something to do with a Christmas cake that's gone too old.
Oh my gosh. So there's like a kind of a saying towards if you're not married on time, it's like, yeah, you're
Yeah,
too
I think
old
there was
now. No
something
one's
about
gonna no
that.
one's gonna purchase anymore.
Yeah, yeah. The best before date is gone.
Yeah. That's actually really funny.
Mhm.
Well, actually sexist too, and not funny at the
Absolutely,
same time,
absolutely.
but
Mhm.
just a funny saying that that is referred to as a Christmas cake.
Yes, yes. But so as mentioned before, it's very commercial. The whole city turns very Christmassy. Lots of lighting and decorations, illuminations, actually quite beautiful and extravagant and sometimes decadent illumination that takes place in the city. For example, I grew up in Tokyo, but there's many places that you can go to just to see these lightings, and they're actually quite impressive. What are the other things that I remember? Japan is really good at making really cute products. So they would also make a lot of cute Christmas themed products. But it is very commercial. Yeah.
Okay. Almost just like the US, it's very
Yes. Yes.
commercialized. You know, Santa Claus is sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Yes. Uh, That's true.
Yeah,
But
so yeah, go
I
ahead.
think the kids do believe in Santa Claus. So the parents, families would prepare a present, and if there's enough space in the house to have a small tree, they might have a fake plastic tree,
Hmm.
because I think having a real Christmas tree would be expensive, and you wouldn't usually buy a real Christmas tree.
It's not
So
so it's probably not sold there.
no,
It's
no,
not
I've
like
never
popular.
seen it. I've never
Yeah.
seen it in town, and also limited space, and how would you transport it?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's usually a
Um
small Christmas tree.
yeah. How do you celebrate now in Denmark? Do you just take on the Danish tradition, or do you try to buy like the cake and the KFC?
Well, actually, I think because I'm in Denmark, my husband's family's tradition has taken over. So we do get a real Christmas tree, we decorate it, um, and then we also have maybe some duck, and also the traditional Japanese Christmas food like a risengrol,
Hmm.
risalaman, a Waldorf salad. Yeah, those are, and then we would of course sing around the tree,
Hmm.
run around the house at the end. And then there's a little bit of my husband's family tradition because we're actually quite spread out in the world. So we try to say cheers and think about our family
Hmm.
at midnight at our local time, and that's become
Okay.
our tradition.
Oh, that's nice. So you've incorporated different traditions due to everyone being here and there. And you
Yes.
guys weren't in Denmark also. You guys were in Brazil or
Yes.
Canada.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
that's actually nice that you incorporate them,
Yes.
other people, into the tradition.
Yes.
What do you like about Christmas in Denmark compared to in Japan?
I like how the decoration and it feels more real and honest.
Mm-hmm.
That it's not just about the commercial aspect. Of course, there's the gift giving aspect that becomes commercial, but it's definitely a time of family and caring and love. And I think there's also a lot of the charity that comes out that they try to make sure that the families in need are also provided for at least a good Christmas dinner and some gifts for the kids. And I think that reflects the Christian aspect of the Danish society. But also going to the Christmas mass. It's very
Mm-hmm.
lovely hearing the music and also hearing the service. Those things I really have come to appreciate.
Yeah. Is there anything that you miss about Christmas in Japan?
In Japan, let's see, what do I miss? Probably the cake. The cake is actually pretty nice. It's like a strawberry shortcake, and it was very light, and I also remember looking forward to that Christmas cake.
You didn't try to make it here in Denmark,
I can
and
try, but I think it's the Danish Christmas dinner. I think is a full course menu, so I'm quite busy also helping out in the kitchen.
yeah, okay. Maybe
Maybe this
one
year
year.
because we're at home and there's no traveling, so maybe there's space for making that Christmas cake.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your tradition back in Denmark. I would love to know how you did it in Brazil because every country is different, but we want to keep it short. And
Yes,
also we wanted to focus on Japan. But it's so interesting that in Japan it's like about couples, and
yes,
it's not really, it is about family and kids, but
mhm,
its main focus is
it
couples
is.
and then KFC.
Yeah, yes.
Is a famous dinner like if you go out with a couple, you go get KFC
No,
over
no, if
there?
it's a couple, then you would expect to book a nice restaurant. Uh,
Okay. So
yeah.
it's kind of like your guys's um Valentine's Day.
Yes, yes, but Valentine's Day is also, different, but it is
Completely
sometimes
different thing.
it's pretty crazy how
Yeah.
we really try to import a culture and twist it and try to
And make it
make it
your
our
own. I think that's so
own.
interesting. You just make it your
It is,
own.
it is, it is.
Well, thank you so much for being on the this episode, and then for the listeners, thank you for coming back and listening to what is today. It's Japan, and then tomorrow will be another country. So what is it? I don't know. You'll have to come back. Until tomorrow, everyone. Bye.